אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome. It's a little cool and wet outside, but it's beautiful and warm and lovely in here as we gather for Shabbat. As our service begins, just a few reminders. First of all, if you have a cell phone, we invite you to check it now. Make sure it's quiet, off, or in silent mode so as not to disturb our worship. We also invite you to look around the room and locate the exits. There is an exit here, 2 on the side, 1 in the social hall on that wall, and 2 all the way in the back. It is good practice wherever you go to pay attention to your surroundings and locate your exits. We also ask that you participate in the security of the synagogue, and if you see something, please never hesitate to say something. I'm Rabbi Melinda Penkin.
I'm Cantor Wally Shackett Briskin.
I'm Rabbi Jonathan Falco.
We're joined by Ali Glazer, who's representing our Board of Trustees and sharing some announcements this evening. And we are here with our beautiful and wonderful choir. Welcome. And thank you to Suzanne, our choir director, for leading them. And they will add a beautiful richness to our service and our music this evening. When we gather for Shabbat, we become a community, particularly for the time that we're together. And it's nice not just to sit next to one another, but actually get to know one another. So we invite you to take a moment, look around, find a person you don't know, introduce yourself to that person, and wish them Shabbat Shalom.
Good job. These are going great. Yes, really. Yes, for sure. How's everything with you? Good?
Connecting.
Are you excited for Hanukkah? Oh, that should be so nice. That's great. You'll celebrate together.
We begin this evening with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. You can find the words on the Mishkan Tefillah on page 120. Underneath your seats, you'll find the prayer book. Also, they'll be displayed on the screen up front. And it is my pleasure to welcome up to lead us in the blessings this evening our bat mitzvah for this weekend, Sasha Gesterak, and her parents, Irina and Vlad.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzuvanu lehadlit ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed is the eternal, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us through mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
We continue page 123 with the Kiddush. Hard to wait.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot in love and favor, You made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, borei periha gafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu, zikaron lemaaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava u'ratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Good Shabbos. Shabbat shalom.
We continue together on page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life.
Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmi'anu Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela likrat Shabbat lehu v'nilcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikerem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat kila Lecha dodi לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Page 144, our Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בלתה ואמרו Amen. Page 146, our call to worship. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 la 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 la. La la
On page 149, we read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Ukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Aken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofbenu, ufkumenu nasiyah bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem hayenu, be'orech yameinu, u'bahem negeh yomam v'layla, negeh yomam v'layla. Be'ahavadcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'pshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha Uchtaltam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue on page 159 together. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. This song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content.
Her soldiers home to leave no more.
The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalao miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Page 162, our affirmation that the people Israel shall keep Shabbat throughout the generations. On page 164, we invite you to rise in body or spirit for our Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ava, Melech Hoseir U'Moshia U'Magen.
Baruch atah
Adonai, Magid Abraham,
ve'ezrat Sarah.
Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed,
Mechayei hakol
Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim,
Umkayim emunato.
Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umchayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch
Atah Adonai,
Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Ya'alelu HaSelah, Baruch Atah Adonai
El
HaKadosh. Please be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Baruch atah
continue on page 176 together. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Tasim le'olam. 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 Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Rav Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Tasim le'olam. V'tov einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. V'kol beit v'kol sha'am b'shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, marech et amo Yisrael. Shalom Rav Yisrael Tasim le'olam. 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 Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. We pause for a moment of silent prayer.
Our minds now turn to those who are in need of healing. As a community, we pray for a refuah shlema, a complete healing of mind, of body, and of spirit, for Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Brian Roche, Roberta Feibush, Arlene Schwartz, Harriet Domro, Barbara Roth, Ron Labovitz, Alyssa Foreman, Sid Schulman, Mort Cohen, Mel Crystal, Gail Schesser, Brian Lynn, Len Weinberg, Skylar Herman, Amy Gutterson, Lois Benjamin, Jordan Horowitz, Grayson Chukovsky, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Brody Scher, Fira Schwartz, Samuel Finkelstein, Alexander and Eugenia Litovskaya, Debbie Pincus, Joyce Welkus, Sandy Tankus, Jared Noratsky, Howard Shane, Ava Wasserman, Rich Riley, Debbie Taylor, Alana Shalev, Sheila Weisler, Kathy Betts, Benjamin Nurlov, Tony Bushbaum, Kerry Martuscelli, Rachel Orenstein, Evan Goldberg, Maya Madeline Capuccelli, as well as those who are affected with COVID-19. If there's anyone whose names who have not been mentioned, I invite you to share their name out loud at this time. We take all of those names said out loud and wrap them with the ones said in our hearts as we recite the Misha Berach Lacholim, our prayer for healing, on page 371.
I'm not sure you're aware, but Hanukkah is coming. I hope you've taken out your Hanukkiyot and taken off all the wax from last year and gotten them ready, because you only have a few more days to get all the wax out of the nooks and crannies. Hanukkah actually is not a biblical holiday. It's not found in the Torah. It is based on historical events that are found in the first and second books of Maccabees. And it recounts the events that took place, actual events, in 168 BCE, when the Syrian king Antiochus Epiphanes sent soldiers into Jerusalem, desecrated the temple, abolished Judaism, outlawed Shabbat and festivals, as well as circumcision, and set up altars in the temple for idol worship. The Antiochus and his soldiers offered Jews two options: conversion or death. It's kind of a common story in our history, unfortunately. And in 167 BCE, the temple was renamed after the Greek god Zeus, and altars dedicated to worship Zeus. Well, this created a resistance in the Jewish people, And this resistance grew, led by the Hasmonean family, who are also known as the Maccabees. And Judah Maccabee really became the chief strategist and military leader. And by 164 BCE, this ragtag group of Jews defeated Antiochus. They retook the temple, cleansed it, built a new altar, and made new holy vessels. After 4 years of fighting, they finally had freedom to worship again in their holy place. It's not until about 400, 500 years later that the story of the oil shows up. And you can ask me about why that shows up and what was intended by that in the Mishnah and in the Talmud. But really, the fundamentals of the story of Hanukkah is all about religious freedom, is about the right to be able to worship as you choose without being threatened that you have to convert or die. It's about religious freedom, and I think for us in America, Jews in America, I think it's about religious tolerance as well. What it means when you are not allowed to worship as you would like to. I think about religious freedom often and what a blessing it can be. In fact, just a few weeks ago in our sanctuary, what did we do? We gathered Muslims and Catholics and Protestants and Jews, and we gave thanks together for a Thanksgiving interfaith service. What a wonderful example of religious freedom and tolerance. Today I thought about it again because something kind of interesting piqued my curiosity, and it reflected some of what I did this past week. So I wanted to share it with you. I was going through the drive-thru, and I'm not so good all the time at getting close enough to the drive-thru. Does that happen to you? So I was a little bit too far out, and I handed the person my credit card, and he had to lean far out the window, and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm too far away." He said, "You know what, I'll meet you halfway." And I said, if only everybody responded that way. And he said, "Yeah, people just aren't willing." And I thought, oh, this is like such a lovely moment. And then I got my junk food for my children, and as I left, I wished him a happy holiday, and in response he says, "Merry Christmas." I thought, well, that is not meeting me halfway for sure. Now, if it had been a week ago, I might have become very strident. I might have turned around and said, "You know, I'm Jewish, so happy Hanukkah to you." I might have been, I might have had a sense of threat, but I didn't because of what I did this past week. I recently have joined a cohort of Jewish clergy in the Elu Ve'elu program, working with One America, which brings clergy together to learn about toxic polarization and how we can bring people back together. Now, let me just start by saying what I learned this week was fascinating, that there's always polarization. There's normal polarization in the world. There is normal disagreement. There is normal standing on two different poles of an issue, right? So what's the thing that tips it over into being toxic polarization? That's when it becomes rooted in different identities, when my identity is in this issue, and it leads to heated emotions or feelings of being defensive because you feel threatened by someone else's view. It's okay to be polarized, but when you start to feel threatened, when you start to feel like harm is going to come to you because you disagree with the person, then we find ourselves in the realm of toxic polarization. Now, often the perceptions of others fuel our sense of threat, right? Because we think that people, like when he said Merry Christmas to me, I was sure there was a message behind that, right? That was one of my perceptions, what could have been my perception in the moment. But what if my perception was wrong? Do you ever find that your perception of something is wrong? I hope so, because if not, we're all in big trouble. There's a group called More in Common, which has been doing some interesting surveys. They asked Democrats and Republicans what they think the others believe. Okay? So, They ask really difficult questions, questions that they know are polarizing questions. So they asked a bunch of Democrats, do you think Republicans believe that properly controlled immigration can be good for America? Okay? Can Republicans believe, how many Republicans do you think would believe that properly controlled immigration can be good for America? Now, the Democrats said that only 50% of Republicans would think that properly controlled immigration is good for America. But when they asked Republicans what they thought, over 85% agreed that properly controlled immigration can be good for America. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more examples. Sexism, is it still alive in America? If you ask Democrats what they think Republicans think, Democrats would say 45% of Republicans would agree that sexism is still alive in America, but 60% of Republicans actually agree, more than 50%. Now, it wasn't just asking Democrats about Republicans, but Republicans were also asked about Democrats. So when Republicans were asked if Democrats would say they're proud to be American, even though they acknowledge their country's flaws, Republicans said only 50% of Democrats would feel proud to be American. But 95% of Democrats said that they would be proud to be, that they feel proud to be American, even though there are flaws in the country. And they also asked, if Democrats, this is hard because it's a negative, so I'm sorry, just bear with me. If Democrats would disagree with the statement that most police are bad, okay? Republicans said only 45% of Democrats would disagree with the statement that all police are bad, right? When in fact 90% of Democrats, in truth, would disagree that most police are bad. Okay, did you catch that one? Okay. So, and the widest perception gaps were found at the political extremes. If you were on one side or the other, you were more likely to view the other in a negative way. What I think is so interesting about this is that it tells us that our perception of the other really sort of demonizes them. And we see them as being a threat to what we believe. And the political extremes that we think are there, the gaps are not that big. We actually have more agreement than we have disagreement. And as we see, I mean, how many of you think that toxic polarization is growing in our country? Okay. And you're probably finding it at your own tables, Thanksgiving. There may be people you can't sit with anymore because your friends and family, you disagree with them. And the problem is, a lot of it is coming from these misperceptions. Now, there are organizations that are working on bridging this divide. There's this One America movement that I am studying with now for the course of the next year. There's also More in Common. And they are trying to create opportunities for people to really break down their misperceptions and to talk to one another. Because one of the ways that we can break down toxic polarization is by trying to get to know what others believe and why. So in discussions that bring people who disagree together, what they're finding is often they can bring people together to discuss abortion. I mean, you can't get more fundamentally different than that in terms of what people believe and what they feel. But after they talk to each other and really listen to why the other side believes what they believe, what they often come away seeing is that the other person, though they disagree with them, has a true sense of integrity behind why they believe what they believe. And though neither persuades the other to change their mind, they leave seeing a new sense of humanity in one another. It takes the threat away. I no longer believe that this person is out to take my rights away or to destroy me. I have a better sense. So when I left the takeout window, I left this time not with a sense of anger or fear. But I found myself more curious. I really almost wanted to go back in and order again, just so I could ask him, what made you respond that way to me? What's bothering you so much that you couldn't accept my offer of happy holidays and wanted to only say Merry Christmas to me? What is your intent behind that? So that I could truly understand, was it malicious or was it not? I had a new way of approaching it. Because the way that I respond to the things that I disagree with can either make it normal polarization or toxic polarization. So I have to start with me. So on the tables in the back, this is my Hanukkah present to you. I put this nice, from One America, this nice brochure on how to talk to your neighbor. Maybe there's someone that you want to have a conversation with who you disagree with. And the nice thing about this brochure is it takes you through some ground rules for meaningful conversation. The first being listen. Start by listening. You know how sometimes maybe you're not like me, but maybe you are. You're talking to someone and you're just formulating your answer in your mind and you're not really listening. What if we started to really learn to listen? Ask to learn, not to respond. Be present. Pause. When you start to get heated, pause. Watch for cues. Be open-minded. Assume good intent. Be self-aware. And maintain trust and confidentiality. There's more in the packet, and I hope you'll take it. And if you run out, I can send you the link. You can reach out to me. I'm happy to make more. But I think it's a great way to start to practice having some conversations. And there are congregations now, there are synagogues that are working on democracy projects where it's not about how you vote, but it's about opening up dialogue between different ways of thinking within the congregation so that everybody can feel seen and comfortable. Hanukkah is the time when we light up the dark. We take light and we keep increasing it. And when you increase light, you can see more and more. So I hope this year, as you light your Hanukkah, you think about this and you think about the ways that you can bring light to the world, the way that perhaps the Hanukkah will help you see things in a different light or see things in a new way. And I hope our lighting of the candles this year can be an act of healing and growth for us personally, for us as a community, and also maybe our lighting can help to bring some healing and wholeness to our congregation, to our nation. There is a lot of work that needs to be done, and maybe it starts with one single candle. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue now, page 586 with Aleinu. Please rise as the ark is opened.
עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. Please be seated.
Page 599. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. If you're here remembering a loved one this evening, please stand when we say their name and remain standing until we all join in rising for the mourner's Kaddish at the end together. This evening we recall the over 1.1 million Americans and the 6.6 million human beings around the world who have succumbed to COVID-19. We remember those whose families are currently in the 30-day mourning period of Shloshim: Gisela Fisher, Harvey Snyder, Jeffrey Portnoy, Stanley Croman, Ron Klug, and Roberta Cohen. And if you are here remembering someone who has passed away in the last year, we invite you to rise. We also recall the names of those who died at this season in years past: Lawrence Barish, Claire Becker, Henny Berman, Louis Blotsky, Edna Brenman, Monty Brief, Richard J. Burke Jr., Leonard Cannon, Yale Chernitz, Marvin Davis, Bertha Epstein, Miriam Fate, A. Leon Futterman, Rebecca Gartenhouse, Edward Gaines, Murray Goldberg, Francis Goldman, Henrietta Hammer, Helene Heller, Emmanuel Herzog, Leon Kaplinsky, Jean Klein, Arnold Klein, Y.P. Coley, David Koski, Irving Krieger, Michael Ray Krieger, William Leshin, Naomi Linder, Dora Martyr.
Alice Menaker, Harry Moffat, Joseph S. Newman, Pearl Novick, Ruth Olenek, Irving Orlovsky, Ruben Pasternak, Yasina B. Feufer, Michael Pickett, Gertrude Pomerantz, Helen Gertrude Ringer, Sam Rosbruch, Pauline Ruff, Michael Schaefer, Max Schenker, Jack Schneer, Jean Schwartz, Morris Shukovsky, Edward Silberberg, Neil Stevens, Lillian Strassman, Claire Stumacher, Claire Turret, Philip Weinberg, George M. Weiner, Lawrence Wien, Frida Wiener, Norman Wilner, Susan Winslow, Joan Shaw Wright. And each week we name individually 6 unique individuals who perished in the Shoah, the Holocaust. Gyula Gluck, Heinrich Wasserman, Ita Linschik, David Bondar, Nahum Galperin, Paulina Frankel.
Zichronam Levracha, may those who have touched our lives continue to bless us through the beauty of their memory. Page 598, we rise as a community now for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divara chirute v'yamlich malchute, bechaye chon u'v'yomei chon, u'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv imru, amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mivarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May the source of peace bring peace to those who mourn and comfort to those who are bereaved, as together we say, amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen.
Please be seated. I just want to take a moment to remind everyone we're still in the process of our donations for the annual appeal, and if you have not yet donated to the annual appeal, I hope that you will consider it and help us get to 100% participation. Every donation makes a difference. We are also grateful to those who made donations to the synagogue this week. Donations were made in memory of Harvey Snyder, Ann Freed, Jeffrey Portnoy, and David Silverstein, for the yard sites of Yale Chernitz, Frida Wiener, A. Leon Futterman, Neil Stevens, Herb Solomon, Bradley Lieberman, Philip Weinberg, Henrietta Hammer, Deborah Kelman, Alice Menaker, Norman Wilner, Rebecca Gartenhouse, Michael Pickett, Henny Berman, Edna Brenman, Helene Heller, Claire Tourette. Donations were made in honor of the special birthday of Mark Steinberg, the bat mitzvah of Riley Goldberg, the bat mitzvah of Sidney Saflis, the marriage of Sophia Hirsch and Tal Zakin, for Julia Hines being accepted early to Rutgers University, woohoo, and for the birth of Abigail Jo Wasserman, and for the complete and speedy recovery of Lois Benjamin and Evan Goldberg. A couple of mazel tovs. Mazel tov to Irina and Vlad Gesterak on the bat mitzvah of their daughter Sasha, to Marty and Marla Boucher on the birth of their grandson Ethan Raphael Capauno. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And Marcia and Evan Wasserman on the birth of their granddaughter Abigail Jo Wasserman. Any other good things going on? Yes.
Well, my granddaughter had 2 milestones. Yesterday, she celebrated her first birthday, and she's also walking.
Oh, 2 milestones for the granddaughter, first birthday and walking. That's quite a birthday gift. Any other good things? There's something happening on Sunday.
Yes, Sunday, 11:30 a.m., we have our lifelong learning program on Jewish extremism. It'll be led by me. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be really fascinating, and I encourage anyone who's available to come join us.
Yes. Aww. Welcome from California. You have family coming from everywhere. Well, welcome. I'm sorry our weather is a little cold and wet, but it's like San Francisco this time of year, I guess. Yes. How was the rack trip last week? Really fun? And you know who went on the rack trip for the first time as well? This rabbi right here.
Right.
Which is why if you missed Rabbi Falco last week, he was off with our 10th graders who went to Chris Smith's office, talked about anti-Semitism, and wait, what were the other issues? Anti-Semitism?
Gun violence prevention.
Gun violence prevention. And they did a great job. Very proud of them. We had 6 students go this year. It was a small group, but excellent quality.
Yes.
And also a reminder, 6:30 next week is our Hanukkah family service. So 6:30, come for services and bring your Hanukkah. If you have never attended a TSE Hanukkah service, we set up foil-covered tables in the front and in the back. You bring your Hanukkah, we turn off the lights, we light them all together, and it is beautiful. And we have fire extinguishers available in case you're nervous. So, yes.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Allie Glazer from the Board of Trustees, and I want to first start off by wishing Sasha and her family Mazel Tov on her becoming a bat mitzvah, and to thank Vlad and Irina for sponsoring the oneg tonight. Looking forward to seeing you all next week at the Hanukkah service. That's always a really beautiful service, so if you have not been, please bring your menorahs and enjoy. We're always looking for ushers. So if you would like to usher a Friday night service, please let one of us know, either any of the clergy or any of the board of directors that you see, board of trustees that you might see. We would love to put your name on a list so that we can invite you to usher on Friday nights. We have a blood drive going on. I can't believe I'm saying it's January almost already, but on January 5th, the TSE blood drive will be here, and so we hope that you will donate. There is times and slots that you can get from our website, And we also have the shelter program every Saturday night until March through the winter. If you'd like to volunteer or never have, please reach out, look on our website, or you can contact Michael Holzer, who runs that program for us. And we also have the coat drive, which is ending at the Hanukkah service. Is your last opportunity to bring gently used coats, gloves, scarves, hats, anything that you are willing and able to donate, we would appreciate. So thank you so much. We wish you a very, very happy Hanukkah and Shabbat Shalom.
If you are celebrating a birthday, we invite you to come up and lead Motzi with us. Any birthdays? Any anniversaries? Really? And anyone who's under the age of 13 or has not yet become bat mitzvah yet? Come on up. Sasha, you get the whole thing tonight. Anybody hungry? Anybody like challah? You're welcome to come on up. There you get a big handful. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. As we come in blessing, we leave one another in blessing, and I invite you to either maybe take hold of someone you love or put a hand on your heart or extend hands of blessing to others. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May we be blessed. May we be safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May we be luminous. May we be loved. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May we be joyous. May we be healthy. May we be whole. Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos.
It's not too early to start practicing our Ma'oz Tzur for Sunday. Saving power, you amidst the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furiously assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us.
Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos.